Hi there, and welcome back to Triplicate and part 2 of our look at Braun 340 shavers, of which I have 2. One I got myself and one belonged to my late father many years ago, and he used one at home and one on the boat, and this was the one that was working but had tired batteries, and we successfully changed the batteries and it's still doing what it's supposed to do, though you might not think so from the state of my chin. And the other one got taken apart and put in this plastic bag in quite a few bits. And this one has... Oh, there we go, that's the main board. A problem with it. It doesn't charge properly, and I think the problem is because I put the batteries in the wrong way around when I was playing with it before. So we are going to have a look at this and see if we can find out what's wrong with it and possibly fix it. Alright, so shall we put a couple of batteries in and see what happens. Here we have a couple of rechargeable batteries, minus plus, minus plus. Okay, so this corner is a plus. Okay, so what gives? Nothing seems to be getting hot, so we will the multimeter, DC volts, and see if it's loading the batteries down. 2.6 volts across there, so that seems alright to me. That seems absolutely fine to me. And plug it into the motor. Right. So, as I, after a bit of head scratching, found on the other one, it assumes when you first connect the battery, the batteries are actually flat when the batteries are actually fully charged, so I need to connect it to the mains via the charger first. Okay, so we have here the charger wire, and we will do a quick sanity check by sticking that in there and that in there, and we will get 13.3 volts, nominally 12, but we'll take that. So let us stick this in here like that. And nothing happens. Oh yes, it does. It comes on and says it's charging. I can't remember off the last video whether we had to wait for the charge light to go out before it would decide to start. Let me try it. Pull the charger out. And there it goes. Okay, so if we plug the charger back in, must have decided it's full. Right, well, we're going to take the batteries down a bit by just letting it run, and I won't trouble you with sitting there and watching a shaver motor go around. Okay, got it sitting on a pair of socks, stop it buzzing like mad, and trying to measure the battery voltage here. 2.53 with it running, that sounds correct. So turn it down. 2.56. So let's now plug the charger back in and see what happens. Not a lot. I think these, the board wasn't plugged in. You see, something is now not right. Shall we see what the red and the green LEDs are on? Battery voltage is 4.8, 4.9. That should not be the case. Yeah, there's 13 across there. Unplug that again, because I'm showing 5 volts across 2 nickel metal hydride batteries. That's done for them. Right, I need to secure these batteries in the drop out under gravity. Right, a bit of judicious battery terminal bending, and I've got better contacts for the batteries, which was our problem. So, have a look at these voltage across these batteries. We have 2.6 after it's been running a bit, and if we hit the go, we have 2.565. And if we plug in the charger, we have green light comes on, so it thinks the charger and charging circuit, should I say, thinks it's good. And we have 2.7. So let's leave it running and see if it charges up. It thinks it's charged itself up okay. Okay, so that's charged up and the light's gone out, so should we see what the voltage across it is now? 3 hands. 2.8. 2.86. Well, that was definitely not working. It was definitely not charging up properly and getting hot, as though something in the charging circuit was malfunctioning. So I don't know, that seems to be working perfectly. So what I am going to do now is pull the charger out, retrieve the socks so it's not buzzing, fire it up and let it run down all the way, which is probably going to take some while because there's no load on the motor. So I will bring you back when that has occurred, and then we will see if it'll charge up again okay. Okay, so this is taking forever to run the batteries down, because I guess the motor is not loaded up at all, so it's not really drawing any current, so we're still 2.5 volts. So I have here a resistor of 10 ohms, which is probably going to get a bit hot, but I don't care. So I'm going to load the batteries down a little bit more. There's the other end. the voltage drop off a bit. Turning this resistor is rated for the amount of power I'm putting through it, so it might get a bit hot. No smell on YouTube, so you won't smell. Have to put up the smell of burning resistor. 10 ohms over 2.5 volts is quarter of a watt. Is it? No, quarter of an amp, 250 milliamps. Okay, so hopefully that'll discharge the batteries a bit faster. Okay, finally got the batteries to discharge all the way. Used a 10 ohm resistor to add a little bit of extra load, otherwise it would have taken a week probably. So turn it on, the red light comes on to say the battery's down, and it's just under 2.2, which to me is, well, there's a bit of life left in the batteries as far as I'm concerned, but there we go. So let us check the charging and see if the batteries come up again. Here we go, let's plug that in and the little green light comes on. The voltage goes up to 2.4 and climbing, and it is, clock on the computer here, 10:42, so we'll see how long it takes to charge them up out of curiosity. Okay, so it's charged up, the light's gone out. Let's see what voltage it. 2.86, so that's pretty charged up. And I don't know, I won't start because the charging wire. 2.85, there we go. So I gotta say there's nothing wrong with that. What I guess I must have done was put a really duff battery in, and the charging was just and it was just behaving like a big resistor and getting warm and not producing any power. So I've now put two good batteries in and it seems to be working perfectly, so it is time to put it all back together. Okay, got a heap of bits here. Is there any chance I can remember where they all go without having to go back and look at the other video? Probably not. Is this going to be another triplicate? Get it wrong and annoy people who are trying to use the video to tell them how to fix it. Probably. So if you're watching at this point, hoping to put yours back together, I would wait and see what I get wrong before you actually start copying what I do. So this bit, yeah, looking good. We've got 6 screws here. So those 2 long ones, now I seem to remember I didn't have a full complement of screws. I think those 2 long ones go in the top here, and these go in here, if I can get it in the hole, like that, no, like that. And I need the little Torx bit, which is in a drawer somewhere. Okay, need to go downstairs to get the handle, of course. So, let us put in these screws. Right. Good. So far so good. So now, does this need to be underneath the... I don't know. Does this gasket go under here, or does this gasket go under this bit? Goes round the bottom there. Oof. I think it does. Try to... Oh, it's come off. It's come off. Right, I'm going to get that under the magnifier and make sure that gasket's on right. Right, we're on. And it's sat down, and in all honesty, if the gasket is not entirely right, I don't care, because I never use it in the shower. And this bit pretty much has to go on there like that, with these two other screws in. Screws started at least. Well, they're waggling about, and I have two small rubber washers. This piece possibly goes on there. This piece possibly goes. I have no idea. I am going to have to look at the other video. But I'm also going to take advantage of the fact that I make YouTube videos instead of working, so that when it starts to do my head in, I can take the dog for a walk and resume when the dog has been walked. But looking at the other video, this goes underneath this piece. Also this, oh stop it, trimmer, I took it apart and it now doesn't flick up. Ah, there we go, and it's gone to the top and come off, so I need to fix that, and I think I bent the spring as well, just to make life even more difficult. So we've got to figure that. The reason I took that off is because the little thing to drive the trimmer has to stick out through there, and it is currently not doing so. So we will, hopefully we can get away with just slackening these off and pulling that up, and then sticking this. What's going on here? Whoop. That's up and down. Right, I need to screwdriver. Oh, that's actually. Just going to break off and bend it down. No, right. That's good. Oh, that one bent as well. Not that designed to be taken apart, these things. Right. Oh, it's kind of in. Oh, that one. I think that was it. Gotcha. So that needs to waggle under there, like that, and this, there we go. You see that? The little white dot needs to come out of there. That's why I press the sugar up. See the cutter drive waggling about. Right, I think I am going to assemble the rest. Basically tighten these down. And when I've assembled the rest, I am going to see what's the matter with it. So that, can you see this? Goes down onto there, and nicely wedges in. So the spring goes on, and this, is this symmetrical? Looks symmetrical to me. There we go. And if I put the head on, you see all three bits of the foil are moving. So that leaves us trying to sort this out. Looking at the other video, the dog leg end of this spring goes under there. The coil bit of the spring goes up. You've got to put that in here and just lower it down without anything coming out. Manoeuvre it carefully round. Stick it in there and pull it back, and will it work? Ah, that looks like it's working. Yeah. Piece of paper, put that in there, nothing out, open it, yep. This is a bit, yeah. If it's not perfect, so be it. It works. So that will go back to being my boat shaver. Okay, well I'd sort of set out thinking I was going to get in amongst the electronics of the charging circuit on this thing, and it turns out to be, well, I can only assume that when I changed the batteries I put a completely duff battery in it, which is why it wasn't working. So anyway, it's working now. If the top's a bit bust up and the clipper, I bent the spring so it doesn't hold itself up properly, but never mind, it'll do for the boat. It works, it works. So that's it. Probably the last one on these shavers. I think 2 videos on elderly shavers is probably enough. And we'll get on to something else next time. So until then, it's goodbye from Triplicate, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.